Hey, good morning. We are here live with you on a Saturday morning. This is a legal formation. You know us. We're Chad Bryan and TK Dandridge. You've seen us before. You know who we are. Hey, we're right here on the Inside Edge Network. As always, we're brought to you by LPV Productions. It's not just a Saturday though. Not just a Saturday morning. It is Big Ten Championship Saturday. That actually means something if you're a Buckeyes fan this year. We'll be watching with a reason this year, right, TK?
Yes, indeed. It's been a while since we've been here, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
some new stomping ground for us. Should be a pretty eventful night, though. Um, got number two Indiana we got to deal with tonight, so should be a pretty good edge. Should be a pretty good contest.
Yeah, first time ever. Number one versus number two in the Big Ten championship. I mean, not that there's like a long storied history of the Big Ten championship game. It's only been around, for just a little over a decade. So it's not like it's been around for, since the 1800s or something. The first time ever between matchup between number one and number two, but still pretty cool. I think number one versus number two. Ohio State obviously is number one. They've been number one most of the season after pretty much week one when they beat Texas. They've been almost wire to wire, the number one team in the nation. No one's really come close to them. I mean, you can say what you want about them struggling here and there. I mean, people think that ball control and limiting your defense's time on the field is struggling. I feel like if you know football, um, I don't know. They're not struggling at all. No one's come close to this team. They've just been so dominant all year. Um, I'm tired of the cupcake. Everybody has a soft part of their schedule. Everybody plays weak teams.
Everyone. I don't know why the NCAA continues to do this. It should be powerhouse matchups every week. So that
I mean, it'd be a lot more fun to see, wouldn't it? It's funny. I saw a comment online. Someone said, "Start scheduling SEC teams, and then you'll get respect." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. Didn't they just start with an SEC team, the number one team in the nation, week one? They've got Georgia, Alabama on the schedule coming up. Like, I don't know what you want them to do. I mean,
if we could go from Georgia to Alabama to Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, teams like that, just go over, just give all the top 25 teams all that they can handle. I think that would be a dream world for most college football fans because I mean nobody wants to see Ohio State versus Graham. Who wants to see that?
It was a waste of time.
70 to nothing. You guys are up, 42 to nothing at the start of the second quarter. You already got the fifth string players out there. We didn't even know we went up. We didn't even know we went up the fifth string still. Nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah.
But everybody has to go through it. It's just world of college football, man. World of college sports. Period.
That's how it goes. And listen, when you do these schedules 10 years out, I mean, the Big Ten schedule, your conference schedule is what it is. You can't help who you play in your conference. You can't. You certainly can't make Rutgers, be a competitor, right? I mean, there's nothing you can do about Maryland. There's nothing you can do about Minnesota, whatever. These teams are going to have up and down years. That's the way. It's just the nature of things. It's the way it goes. And also, when you do the non-conference schedules 10 years ahead of time, you don't know. I mean, teams fall off, teams rise. It's hard to guess who's going to be there and who's going to be relevant in a decade. I mean, obviously, I think we knew Grambling State wasn't going to be a top team, a decade out, whatever. Like I said, that happens. Maybe it shouldn't happen. I don't necessarily have a problem with them not playing teams like Grambling State. Listen, it was great for Grambling. They got $1 million check or whatever it was to come into the Horseshoe and, to go through what they went through on that Saturday. It wasn't great for them, but when you leave a program that size, when you leave with $1 million check for the athletic program, that helps, right? That's something. But regardless, that's beside the point. A lot of Buckeye news. I mean, just besides playing Indiana and Kurt Cignetti, if you don't know who that is, you can Google him. I made a joke about him, whatever. They're 12-0. Earlier in the season, I made a joke about Googling Kurt Cignetti and him not winning. But I mean, the guy wins. Let's be honest. I mean, he's done more with less at Indiana. I think he's 22-2, 23-2, something over the last couple of years. With 2- and 3-star recruits, some non-power 5 guys that he had trained. I mean, it's pretty amazing what Cignetti's done in Indiana. I don't want to short him at all or Indiana. I think they're a fantastic football team. I don't necessarily know that they're going to hang with the Buckeyes in the way that everyone thinks that. I've seen people say, "Oh, it's going to be 59-38 Ohio State." Well, that's crazy. That's not how this game's going to go. The Buckeyes are going to play this game like they've played all 12 games so far this year. They're going to try to control it with the running game. They're going to get keep the defense off the field as much as they possibly can. You've got Fernando Mendoza slinging it all over the place for Indiana. They don't want 2 and 3 play scoring drives and to put Indiana's offense right back out there. They're not trying to do that. They've been pretty successful with it all season, so we'll see. But first, like I said, a lot of big news. First of all, Bryan Hartline. I wouldn't say gone, but he's not gone. He'll be here through the playoffs, but he took the head coaching position at USF at South Florida. So he's, again, not gone. He's still here for a few weeks, hopefully a few weeks. We hope that the Buckeyes make another run to the national title game. Hartline's going to stick around for the duration of the playoffs. Is this a good move for Hartline, do you think? Good move for the Bulls of South Florida? I mean, obviously, I think it's not bad having a guy who can recruit the way Hartline can. I don't necessarily think he's going to be quite as successful recruiting guys to South Florida as he has been to Ohio State. They're two different programs. But I think it's a great opportunity for him to go out and run a program, be a head coach. TK, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, when you saw the news, I wasn't necessarily surprised. Were you surprised or no?
Not surprised at all. You look at the success that Bryan Hartline has had since becoming the wide receiver coach and/or offensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He's been absolutely brilliant. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him. This is going to be great for him to be able to grow his resume within the ranks of college football. Obviously, becoming a head coach now at the University of South Florida. I think this is going to be a wonderful chance for him. They're going to be able to get some brand new faces in there. Probably going to get some better talent in there due to just name alone and the resume that he has built up at Ohio State. Obviously, you think of the list of receivers that he has worked with over the years since being part of that Ohio State program. You think Jackson Smith-Njigba, Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, Michael Thomas. The list goes absolutely on and on. So you think he's going to be able to bring some of that expertise, not only at the wide receiver position, but also from a winning standpoint to the University of South Florida Bulls. It's going to be huge for him. It's going to be huge for that program. I think everybody is excited to see exactly what Bryan Hartline is made of. Hey, listen, he's had time to learn under Urban Meyer. He's had time to learn under Ryan Day. He could even take a few pointers from Matt Patricia on what it is to be able to run a football team, to be the head honcho of everything. We all know he knows how to lead men, as we can see. The wide receivers that he has dealt with over the years that have not only been great in college football, but have gone on to have illustrious NFL careers as well. I think Bryan Hartline is a perfect hire for the University of South Florida. Got a young team, got to get some fresh recruiting in there. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do this year. I definitely thought it was a great move. Very happy for Bryan. Sad to lose him, but at the same time, you got to think this was in the best interest of him. He wants to be able to expand that resume, and obviously money does talk. So, that had to be a big part of it as well. And I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be wonderful there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think anybody's expected him to go down there and go 12-0 in year one or anything like that. If you are, maybe you need to manage your expectations, but I'm sure South Florida is over the moon. I mean, they got to be excited to bring a guy like this in with his pedigree, like you said, working with some of the best wide receivers, not only in college football, but in the NFL now. He's been remarkable. I mean, what he's done for the Buckeyes has been, it's off the charts. It's almost hard to put words to it. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised. We talked about recruiting. I wouldn't be surprised to see South Florida pull a 4 or 5-star receiver here and there. I mean, I don't think anybody was in danger of. We can talk about Chris Henry Jr. in a second. I saw people say, well, if Hartline is really following, if Chris Henry is really following Bryan Hartline, why doesn't he go to USF? Listen, Chris Henry Jr. wasn't considering, a second-tier program. I mean, he was looking at Ohio State, USC, and Oregon. Those are all they're top flight Big Ten programs, right? Those are
for years.
Yeah. I mean, those are big-time programs. And listen, Oregon hasn't put a lot of wide receivers into the NFL. We know that. But what they do is they have Nike money, right? They got Phil Knight backing that program up with the NIL. I'm sure he's whatever. I'm sure he pours money into that. I don't know the official, financial whatever. I don't know the I don't have the finances, but I'm sure they have money that's at the ready. They've got 780,000 uniform combinations. That's fun, right? Um, Unfortunately, no national titles. I mean, they've been to the national title game. I mean, they're a relevant program. It's not, people like to say they're irrelevant because they haven't won a title. I don't think that's true at all. I think Oregon's a good football program. I
Definitely
think,
a good football program.
yeah, I
You
think
think
Dan
about
Lanning's an excellent coach.
come through there.
Yeah,
All the NFL talent, and like you said, they have been to national championships before.
yeah,
We obviously remember that 2014 Oregon team, led by Marcus Mariota. I believe
yeah,
De'Anthony Thomas was a part of that team as well.
yeah.
A couple other guys that I'm starting to draw a blank on, but that 2014 Oregon team is pretty damn good.
It's
Not
crazy
to
how much
mention,
time has passed. Yeah, it's crazy. I was thinking about
no,
it's like that's 11 years ago. I mean, that's a long
my
time. It's wild.
goodness. And not to mention, Dan Lanning is a wonderful head coach too. I think
Yes.
he may be one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in college football today, and he
Yeah.
might not be 2 or 3.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's up there on the short list. I mean, I think it's Ryan Day, it's Kirby Smart, it's Dan Lanning. I think that might be. I mean, maybe you can put Kalen DeBoer in there, and I don't know. I mean, at Alabama, but I feel like it's like those guys are like the 1A, right? They're the 1A level of head coaches in college football. Maybe DeBoer's
Absolutely.
like a 1B right now. The loss to Florida State stings a little bit. That was a weird loss. Although at that time, TK, I thought Florida State was going to be a problem. I thought, man,
Yeah.
Florida State looks like they're going to go 12-0. They're going to win the ACC. They're going to the playoffs. They might play for a national title, but something happened. I don't know. There
Shame
was
how that ended.
there was a disconnect there. I don't know what happened. It did not work out that way at all. Really, the entire ACC fell off. I don't think they're going to have a team in the playoffs. Well, they're going to have one team. I mean, somebody's going to win that conference championship game, and it could be like a 5-loss. Whatever. It's going to be a weird situation. But anyway, here we are. I guess we'll talk about Chris Henry Jr. now. What 6'6", 200 some pounds. Really big guy, obviously son of an NFL receiver, a great NFL receiver, Chris Henry Sr. Do you think he starts next year for Ohio State? I mean, do you think he sees a lot of action, or is he a guy that a lot of people are worried he only runs like a 4.6 40, but he's a big guy. He's coming off an ACL tear recently. I think that is concerning to some people, especially with the larger frame, the taller guy, and with previous ACL problems. People like to, for some reason, get into high school stats and go, "Oh, he doesn't even have the stats of a number one receiver." That's ridiculous. Um, First of all, I mean, you're limited in high school by whatever's around you, right? To a certain extent. I'm not even sure who the quarterback was at Mater Dei. I mean, I know they're a big program. They're a big time program out there in California. But I'm not sure who their quarterback was really offhand. I don't really have that right in front of me. I'll be honest with you. But I think you're limited a little bit in high school. And I think some of these guys don't necessarily, I don't know, you don't need the reps. I mean, once you're a 5-star receiver and you're looking at programs like USC, Oregon, Ohio State, I don't know that you necessarily need to have 120 catches, for 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns or anything your senior year. I mean, you're already a proven commodity. You know where you're going to go. You have an idea where you're going to go. There was a little bit of, a little bit of suspense there, I guess, in his recruitment at the last second. Didn't sign on National Signing Day. Made the announcement on the Pat McAfee show. I think some people got nervous because, there's obviously the West Virginia connection with his father. That's where he went to school. Pat McAfee went to West Virginia, and people thought, man, is West Virginia going to step in here as a sleeper and grab Chris Henry Jr.? Like, is that the announcement? And I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It crossed my mind. I said, hey, I mean, what better place to, to commit to West Virginia than on the Pat McAfee show, right? But now he committed to the Buckeyes. He's signed. He's officially a part of that recruiting class. I think, all the people that were online saying, oh, good riddance, the kid doesn't, whatever. I mean, I think you can delete those comments now. It's ridiculous. He's an 18-year-old kid, man. This is the biggest decision of his life. Let him cook, right? Like, let him take some time. Think it over. I think it's weird when people have those knee-jerk reactions. We've talked about it before. People get so wild over college football recruiting, and they get so
really do. It's a mess.
Yeah, they get so hateful. I don't understand. Over kids that you don't know, you'll probably never meet them. But for some reason, it's super important on National Signing Day where they decide to go to college. I think that's really weird. Just let these kids be themselves, man. Let them live their lives. Let them make their own decisions. I mean, these are kids. It has nothing to do with you. And he's 18. He's an adult. He's an adult. So I get this is what he signed up for. Come on, man. You got to calm down. You can be a fan without yelling at these kids this is, again, a once in a lifetime thing. I mean, a lot of these people, I get it. They've never gone through a major recruitment. They haven't had Division I programs, knocking down the door and calling and texting and whatever, sending DMs on Instagram every other, whatever. Not during the dead period. We don't do that. Well, unless you're Michigan, then you do whatever because you don't pay attention to the compliance department, but whatever. It's fine. We could talk about Michigan in a moment, too, because there might have been some shenanigans on the sidelines during that game last Saturday, which Ohio State won, by the way, 27-9, went up to Ann Arbor and snapped a 4-game losing streak. But we can get to that in a moment because I want to talk about Chris Henry Jr. and his immediate impact. I don't think I actually finished answering or asking you the question. Is he a guy, do you think he'll see the field right away? Do you think he comes in right away? And I think he's an early enrollee, right? He's going to be there early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long do you think it is before he loses the black stripe, which is an Ohio State thing, which is, technically you're an official member of the team once you lose the black stripe off your helmet, right? Means you've done enough to prove that you deserve a roster spot, whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to imagine him lining up on the other side across the field not across the field, but on the other side of the offense from Jeremiah Smith. And with Julian saying as accurate and as, just quick, he's a quick processor, right? He sees things really quickly. That could be a nightmare for defenses. The Ohio State offense is already a nightmare with Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, right? Now you throw 6'6", 215-pound Chris Henry Jr. in there. I don't know. Good luck. I mean, defensive coordinators probably, I would imagine, don't feel great about this, but I don't know. Do you expect him to be like a week 1 starter? You think it'll take him some time to kind of work himself in? I mean, don't forget, they've got they've got all kinds of other 5-star receivers on this roster. It's not like they're going anywhere.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think about him and his immediate impact? How do you feel about that?
I really don't think it's going to take Chris Henry that long to get acclimated to what Ohio State wants to do, or to be that guy that they're looking for to possibly replace Carnell Tate. You still got to think, obviously, Jeremiah Smith is going to come back for another year. Brandon Ennis is still there. You still have other guys in that receiver room that still need some work to get done. But at the same time, with talent like Chris Henry Jr., I do expect him to be able to sneak on the field a lot more than normal. You think maybe week 1, you think maybe they'll take it easy with him. 5, 10 to 15 snaps. Maybe week 2 will go up to 20 to 25 maybe. And then after that, they're just going to let him loose. Anytime you can get a guy that's 6'6" out there running routes and making plays, like a guy like Chris Henry Jr., I think you want to use that as quickly as you possibly can. Yeah. So I really don't think it's going to take that long. He may not be a week 1 starter, or he may not be there in week 2, but I do expect some point in time for him to be one of the 3 key receivers on that football team. Yeah. Along with tight end Max Player and running backs C.J. Donaldson and Bo Jackson. I definitely expect him to be one of the key contributors as the season goes on. Shouldn't take him that long to get tested.
He's going to be a nightmare in the red zone. He's got like a catch radius of over 7 feet. I mean, he's got long arms. He's just a big kid. Like I said, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what his vertical leap is. I mean, we'll find out a little bit more about that kind of stuff as he's, as he gets inundated into the roster at Ohio State. We'll find out more about that. Sure. But I just think, I mean, Jeremiah Smith already is what he is. I mean, he's already a one-on-one nightmare. He doesn't even get any one-on-one matchups. He's constantly double and triple teamed. And when you find him one-on-one, it's shocking, right? I mean, there's no 50-50 balls. It's like a 20-80 ball with Jeremiah Smith because he's got so many guys on him. But he still comes down with those catches. He still finds a way to get his. But I mean, listen, you can't double and triple both those guys. You can't do it. You could certainly try it, but then you've got 4 or 5 or 6 guys committed to 2 receivers, and you leave the whole middle of the field open for everybody else in that offense. So, I mean, good luck with that if that's what you want to do. But yeah, I think the offense could be a huge problem in a really, really good way for the Buckeyes and a really bad way for defensive coordinators in the Big Ten and around the country in general. I don't know. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the roster and just kind of seeing what his immediate impact is. To get back to Bryan Hartline, though, obviously, like you said, we're a little sad to see him go because he's just recruited so well. and developed so well. On top of that, you've got some of the best. I mean, Ohio State has again, it's hard to even find the words when you want to talk about the wide receivers that they've not only developed in college but also put into the NFL. It's ridiculous, really. So you wonder now, who do you bring in? I mean, do you bring? Is there one guy out there that can replace Brian Hartline in the sense of being the offensive coordinator, calling plays for Ohio State and Ryan Day, and also recruiting wide receivers, developing wide receivers, coaching wide receivers? I mean, is this like a two-man thing? Do you replace Brian Hartline with two people? I mean, how do you replace Brian Hartline? I guess is my question. Who do you even look at?
Well, I think the search is going to be rather lengthy. Not anything too crazy, but they're definitely going to have to do their research here. I think the first name that comes to my mind was a guy that was with Ohio State before that recently just got canned by the Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders, and Mr. Chip Kelly. I definitely believe that he belongs in college football. I think any football fan that has watched football post 2012 and beyond would say that after 2014, he should have never returned to the NFL in any capacity. But, he's a grown man. He's going to do whatever goofy whatnot he's going to do with his time. So he decided to do that. Would definitely be a thought to go ahead and kick the tires on Chip Kelly once again. But obviously it's not, set in stone or anything like that. But I would not be surprised if it happened. I also think of guys like former Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. Maybe he wants to dabber in the college game a little bit. I also think about former New Orleans Saints offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael Jr. Wonder what he's doing. Remember all those great years that he had with Drew Brees and sculpting that offense and putting up points down there in the Big Easy. There are a number of ways that you can go. Obviously, there are no certainties yet, but the search is going to have to be lengthy. It won't be anything drastic, but at the same time, some that Ohio State's going to have to do their homework on. Can't just put anybody in there.
Yeah, I don't think this is an up-and-comer type of a situation. You don't put a guy in there and let him develop as a recruiter, an offensive coordinator, a wide receivers coach. I think you get a guy who's pretty established. And again, I think it might be a two-man type of situation. I mean, some people have talked about, maybe bringing in guys like Santonio Holmes, or I've even seen Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator. I don't think that would be a terrible hire. Listen, I trust Ryan Day. I don't think it really matters what I think or what my opinion is on who they should bring in. They literally knocked it out of the park with Matt Patricia. Couldn't have gone any better to replace, Jim Knowles. I couldn't have gone better. I mean, a literal historical defense. I mean, again, it's almost hard to find the words. They've done things that we haven't seen in college football for the last 20, 30 years on defense, especially in this day and age of, wide open, spread offenses and 4 or 5 receivers literally lined up from sideline to sideline. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And they seem to have handled every challenge so far. Say what you want, but yeah, Patricia's done a great job. There was a lot. Ryan Day got a lot of blowback, right, in the offseason for hiring a guy like Matt Patricia. Like, why would you hire him? I don't think you can compare being a head coach in the NFL to being an offensive or defensive coordinator in college. I just don't think it's not even the same. It's literally not even the same game. It's football. It's the same sport. But yeah, I just don't think you can compare the two. I don't think that's fair to do. So a lot of people go like, "Oh, Brian Daboll, he's terrible with the Giants." Well, okay, all right. I mean, they've also lost Cam Scatterby, lost Jackson Dart. I mean, he's lost, the bulk of his talent on that offense to injuries. What do you really expect him to do? I mean, I think that would be a fun hire. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Is there anybody you want as the wide receivers coach? Is there anybody that you trust as far as recruiting these guys, building that trust, building that rapport, building relationships with them? And then not only all that, you got to get them in there first. You also have to build relationships when they're there. You have to develop them. You have to, you got to teach them some stuff. I mean, is there anybody that you have an eye on or no?
When you talk about the New York Giants, and you talk about how they just got rid of Brian Daboll as their head coach, I definitely think, if he does want to come back to coaching, if he wants to stay around coaching, it could be a step to say, hey, listen, I was an offensive coordinator at the highest level. I've became a head coach at the highest level. I was able to turn around a struggling franchise for a moment in time, get them to a 9-win season, get them to win a playoff game as well. Why not take a step back and go to the college game and see what type of magic that I could work out here? You see how all some of these former NFL head coaches are going back to being coordinators in the college game and are having a ton of success. Bryan very well could be the next guy that's added to that list.
Yeah. I think people forget, TK, that he was the offensive coordinator with Nick Saban at Bama for a little while. Obviously had some success there. I mean, you can say what you want about how much of that success is due to Nick Saban and, you know, the way that program was run by Saban when he was there. But listen, Saban's not going to bring in anybody he doesn't trust, right? There's not a situation where Saban's going to put somebody out there in a key role like that and go, well, we'll try him out and see what happens. I mean, who cares? We don't have to win football games here. That's not going to happen, right? So if Saban trusts him, if Ryan Day trusts him, I certainly trust him. Who am I? Anyway, I think that's going to be a thing to watch. Yeah, that's going to be something that just has to develop over time. We're not going to get any answers tomorrow. I mean, first of all, they have a playoff run, and before we even get to the playoffs, we're going to look ahead in a minute at the Big Ten championship game, which kicks off tonight. They're going to play Indiana. Curt Cignetti versus Ryan Day, Julian Sayin versus Fernando Mendoza. You know, whatever. You know, I mean, you could talk about other matchups, but those are obviously the main two. We'll look ahead in a minute, but first I want to look back. I just want to. I don't want to. We don't have to break down the Michigan game. I think it's been done ad nauseum over the last week or so. Buckeyes won it 27-9. My main concern, TK, is some reports that I'm hearing, and they mentioned it during the broadcast on Fox, and then they walked it back a little bit. I think they realized the firestorm they were kicking up a little bit. It's hard to give Michigan, a program like Michigan, the benefit of the doubt when it comes to possible sketchy behavior when they're literally still probably working on paying off those $30+ million in fines to the NCAA for, you know, the Connor Stallion situation, the whole advanced scouting. Although Michigan fans will tell you they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't cheat. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Well, if you read the report, there's about a 74-page report, I think. Yes, they did. They got caught red-handed. They literally got caught cheating. The NCAA says as much. Why games weren't vacated, I have no idea. I'm not really sure. Apparently, free tattoos give you more of a competitive advantage than actually going out and advanced scouting, recording other teams' games, which is illegal. It's part of the NCAA bylaws. It's literally listed as a violation of the rules. I'm not really sure why games weren't vacated. I don't know. Again, I'm not a decision maker for the NCAA. I don't do any of that stuff. I have no idea what they were looking at. The NCAA just doesn't seem to have the same teeth, right? The same whatever that they used to have. So whatever, we can move on from that. But anyway, during the game, late third quarter, early fourth quarter, the power went out on Ohio State's sideline. Now, listen, it was snowing, right? It was cold. There was a little bit of snow coming down, but I don't know if Michigan lost power or not. It doesn't seem to me that both sides lost power the same way. It was only the Ohio State sideline. They lost their communication, so they had to run plays in the old school way. You know, there was a rumor that Matt Patricia and Ryan Day were there, you know, sitting on the side, not sitting, but standing on the sidelines, like literally calling plays the old school way, like running them in with players, right? This happened a couple different times. Now the NCAA states, listen, this is not like a new thing. I mean, sidelines lose power. These are old stadiums. Some of these stadiums are very old. The infrastructure isn't perfect, right? It's going to happen. So when they implicated the helmet communications, the NCAA said, okay, listen, if one side goes down, the other side has to immediately shut off their comms as well. We can't have any unfair advantages because we don't want people playing games or shenanigans or whatever, turn the power off on the opponents. But a lot of people think that's maybe what happened. Now, Ryan Day and I can't imagine how, you know, just being that prepared and being that ready for whatever that you have to almost be like obsessive, right? As a college football head coach, you got to be ready for anything because you can't get caught, you know, figuratively with your pants down in the moment. You got to be ready. The comms go down. You got to be ready with a plan. So they had a plan. They were ready for that. They said that he had an inkling that might happen. Listen, I'm going to ask you just straight up. Did Michigan do this on purpose, TK? Did they turn the power off on Ohio State?
Yeah, I think, look, we all know if we have been out of the house at all, we do know that sometimes weather can imply some sort of technical difficulties with electronics, especially with, like a satellite or whatnot, very snowy, very windy, very cold that weekend. So, yeah, there are obviously different, approaches that we could take to this. It's not necessarily, so black and white, once a cheater, always a cheating ass pumpkin eater. It's not necessarily always that, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to look past that, given all the other things that they have done.
Yeah.
Given all the other things that they have done that they have not been sanctioned for, it's obviously hard to look past this. But at the same time, just think. It's 25 degrees out, very decent snowfall, a nice wind chill. You had winds at about 25 to 30 hours to start at pregame. So, you had a lot going on that day. So, it looks fishy. It sounds fishy. Maybe it is a fish, but at the same time, these are things that we can also look into and say, hey, maybe this was just a malfunction. This isn't the first time that this has happened this season. This isn't the first time this has happened in the past few seasons. Just something to think about. Maybe it isn't what we think it is.
No, it's
ain't what we think.
Yeah, it's very possible. Like you said, wet, windy, snowy, cold conditions. I mean, it's possible some moisture got in there. And listen, it's really just possible too that whoever does the maintenance at the big house, maybe they just don't quite spend as much time making sure that the visitor sideline is as up to snuff as the home sideline. That's not cheating, right? That's just like, hey, we're gonna take care of ourselves first. Self-care, nothing wrong with self-care. I don't necessarily think they had some guy in a room flipping the switch off on the Buckeyes. I'm not going to say that. I think that's a huge leap to take. There's no proof of that. There's no evidence of it. We'll probably never know one way or the other. You can always have your hunches. You can have your, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories or whatever. And it's fun to, it's not necessarily fun. If they did it, that's pretty awful, actually. I mean, that would be cheating. That would be literal cheating. I don't think there's going to be an NCAA investigation. I don't think the Big Ten's going to look into it. I don't think anybody really cares. It didn't seem to affect the Buckeyes in any way negatively at all. If it did, it didn't show. Yeah. If it did, it didn't show on the scoreboard, didn't show on the field. Ohio State completely dominated Michigan in that game.
Never going
to. I don't know if this was a false quote, but did you see Listen, did Desmond Howard actually say that Michigan outplayed Ohio State in that game? Did he say that?
It wouldn't surprise me at all to hear Desmond Howard say something asinine like that in favor of his Michigan Wolverines. Would not surprise me in the least bit if he said that. But I don't recollect any moment of him saying that, or at least on television. He may have gotten it off off camera. He may have gotten it off. Because had he done it on camera, he would have got fried right then and there by everyone on that panel, including the guys in the back doing all of the engineering work too. He would have got endlessly flamed.
Lambasted. And listen, they should. If that's the case, they should have turned the power off on him, right? I mean, you cannot have watched that game and think that Michigan outplayed Ohio State by any stretch of the imagination.
Howard, he's done for the day.
Yeah. That's it. Cut his mic. Remember the old what was it? Not pardon the interruption, but around the horn. Remember around the horn when you would lose a certain set and you'd freeze your screen and you were done. You couldn't talk. That was it. Then he'd go around the horn.
There you go.
Yeah, right. But listen, I don't know. I mean, I think it's funny that when you listen to Kirk Herbstreit talk about Ohio State, he seems to be he's very political, right? He seems to be very objective about it. Urban Meyer, I've heard him, talk about Michigan being the better team here and there, play very objective. But it's weird to me when Charles Woodson and Desmond Howard talk. I mean, they are straight Michigan fans, which is fine. It's just a different approach. I don't know. It's almost like there's some insecurity with that program up north, and I think that's kind of funny to watch.
See, the thing with those two, they're both Ohio guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why they act like that.
Okay. They got to overcompensate a little bit. Okay. That's fair. All right.
I get it.
Well,
I do understand. Some things just don't fit certain people.
Yeah.
But especially with Desmond being from Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. They have no problems amongst their alma mater. They know they're Ohio guys. Well, some people don't. Some people still don't know that they're Ohio guys at heart. But at the same time, I'm sure a majority of people know that these guys are from Ohio.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes it even better, because you guys were born and bred in Ohio and still said, you know what, let me go on over here and rock the maize and blue and see what these cats are talking about. So I definitely think they're more endeared to their Michigan alma mater and their fanfare and things of that nature. So
Again, which it's funny because when you talk about being from Ohio and Michigan, there's like this pocket of like Cincinnati is a weird. It's almost like Cincinnati is anti-Ohio State, right? Like I don't know what that is. I mean, you get a lot of Cincinnati guys that go to Notre Dame. You get a lot of Cincinnati guys that go to Michigan. You're never surprised to see it. For some reason, it's almost like that's like the anti-Ohio State pocket of Ohio, and I'm not really sure where the
disconnect is. I never understood that. I always thought that Cincinnati had a decent Ohio State following.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the way that way though. A lot of Michigan, a lot of Notre Dame fans in Cincinnati. Whatever, neither here nor there. That's a quick look back. I mean, I don't think we need to talk about Michigan anymore. Let's look ahead to the Big Ten championship game tonight. Ohio State, number 1. Indiana, number 2. Ryan Day, like I said, versus Kurt Cignetti. Google him. All he does is win. Not tonight, probably.
Right.
Julian Sayin versus Fernando Mendoza. Now, first of all, I want to ask you from a Browns fan's perspective. Do you want Fernando Mendoza to look good in this game, or do you even care about that?
Me personally, I want the kid to look good because I want his draft stock to remain high. I definitely think Fernando Mendoza is a very good kid, very cerebral player. Definitely guy has a great head on his shoulders. Has a solid arm. I definitely think he has an NFL arm that can succeed at the next level. Can make all the throws. Very intelligible. I really just want him to play well for his sake, for him to continue to build on that draft stock and to potentially be a top 5, top 10 selection in the 2026 NFL draft. But in all realness, you really just want Ohio State to win. Is Fernando Mendoza going to look good? I do believe so. I don't think he's going to carve our defense up necessarily. Our defense is mighty wonderful, I must say. But I do expect Fernando Mendoza to make some of the plays that say, hey, maybe this is exactly why his draft stock has spiked so much in 1 year, especially going from California to the University of Indiana. Definitely got a lot of Jets fans wanting him. He's on their radar big time. They're singing the ABBA joint and all that good stuff. They want that to become a reality. And honestly, I want that to become a reality for them. But they got to stop winning so many games. Anyway, but for Mendoza, I definitely just want him to get through the game in one piece. If we destroy him, hey, listen, best team in college football. We are loaded with 5-star talent. I do understand you guys are 12-0 and a rather convincing 12-0 that you guys have become. Regardless of a couple,
Penn State game, they didn't play well against Penn State.
I was just getting ready to get into that. I'm glad you got me on that. I was just getting ready to get into that. But these guys have worked extremely hard to be able to put up a 12-0 record at the University of Indiana. Is definitely an accomplishment in itself. But as far as being a Browns fan, listen, I've said multiple times, I do not wish to draft a quarterback in the first round. I understand if you find your guy, you locate your guy, you must nab your guy at all costs. I get all of that. Son, if we get another young passer into this mess that we have right now with this patchwork offensive line full of guys that are, halfway out the door or regressing or playing out of position or just playing too much in general. We have all of these problems on this football team right now. And with 2 first-round picks, granted that second-round pick is getting lower and lower by the day. With the play of the Jacksonville Jaguars this year, they are 8-4. At the same time, I really need you guys to look into building this team. We have got to look into rebuilding this offensive line. We need some young blood on there. I can understand if you want to keep Wyatt Teller in the fold, that's fine. Joe Batonio is gone next year. Ethan Postage will be 32. Jackie Conklin will be 35 and has been dealing with injuries for the better part of his tenure with the Cleveland Browns. Granted, he has had a couple of borderline all-pro seasons in there. Remember him locking up T.J. Watt in the playoff game a few years ago. That was a great memory of mine. I do thank him for that. But at the same time, there are things that we need to change other than the quarterback position. You sit here and you draft 2 passers in this past year's draft, and then you draft another one high in next year's draft. What does that say about the malpractice and inefficiency of this damn front office?
Yeah, I think it admits. Yeah, you're admitting you got it wrong, completely wrong with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, what exactly do we have going on here? And it's like, okay, maybe you came to the jurisdiction on Dylan Gabriel a little bit early. Maybe you did the same for Shedeur Sanders as well. At the same time, these young men have both played single-digit NFL games. You drafted them both in the same class. And granted, we already know there's going to be a quarterback competition next year. We already know that going in. Nobody is a clear-cut starter, opening day starter going into training camp next year. It's not happening. When you have to add yet another passer to that mix, now we have to figure, and then you start thinking about, well, who's going to be the general manager here? Are we going to get a full reset? Who's going to be the GM? Who's going to be the head coach? Who's going to be the offensive coordinator? Do we keep Schwartzy? Who's going to be the special teams coordinator? What's going to happen here? I think the whole period of questions that need to be answered. And I do not think one player being brought to this team is going to change all of that. So if we do draft Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, or if somehow we keep Andrew Berry, he does a bunch of coke before the draft and decides, hey, I want Lenore Sellers. Listen, you still need to retool the offensive line. You still have the worst group of pass catchers in NFL history. I would take the 1996 Jets receivers minus Keyshawn Johnson and Wayne Corbett over this receiving core that we have right now.
Okay.
I will take Richie Kotite over Kevin Stefanski.
Not Rich Kotite. What?
That is a big stretch. You know what? You know what gives the respect? You know what? You know how Richie Kotite gets some of the respect that he's been able to have? When he went, they went 3-13 in 1995, and then in 1996, they go 1-14. He goes up there on the podium and says, listen, when you go 3-13 and 1-14, a change needs to be made.
Yeah.
He literally blamed himself. Not only will Kevin Stefanski not take accountability, he does not talk football anymore.
No, he barely says anything. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's like every time Kevin Stefanski talks publicly, it's like he's on trial, and his attorney is like, across the courtroom going, no, don't say nope, don't do it, don't say this. It's wild. But listen, we can get into the Browns tomorrow on the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns, and NFL pregame show. Because I have questions. Listen, Jack Conklin and Wyatt Teller are out tomorrow. Shedeur Sanders is not going to have an easy time. I don't care if it's doesn't matter. Tennessee Titans, I don't care. They're still an NFL football team. We got NFL caliber talent. But speaking of NFL caliber talent, like I said, we'll get to that tomorrow. Fernando Mendoza is going to see plenty of it tonight. He's going to see some NFL caliber, just schemes and blitzes and coverages. The Buckeyes do a really good job of disguising not only pressure, but coverage in the back end of that defense as well. And I think a lot of quarterbacks have really struggled just trying to understand exactly what they're looking at when it comes to Ohio State's defense and coverage clouds and everything else. I think it's just really tough to pick that apart. It's tough to, pre-snap to post-snap when you've got to process things so fast, when you've got guys like Caden Curry and, Caleb Downs coming on a blitz or whatever, they don't even see him coming. When you've got all that kind of pressure, I think it's really tough for guys. And we'll see what Mendoza's made of. Listen, he's a smart guy. Like you said, he's got a couple of master's degrees already. He's not wasting his time in college by any means. He's a smart kid. So I think he either – I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think he plays himself out of the first round, but he could play himself into that first overall pick, which means now the Titans aren't going to pick another quarterback after they just pick Cam Ward. Not going to do that.
No.
So it becomes a bidding war, right? And who's better suited? I mean, it's either the Browns or the Jets. The Jets are majorly suited to go up there and get a number one pick. So listen, if he plays too well, you can forget about him if you're a Brown, and you don't mind that. You don't want to see a quarterback in the first round. You don't care. A lot of Browns fans really want Fernando Mendoza. So if he plays too well tonight, like I said, he's going to play himself right out of the Browns' hands. Like it's going to be Lenore Sellers. It's going to be somebody else. Because he'll be that. We'll see the Jets picking. They'll bring Richie Kotite back to get Fernando Mendoza. They'll roll with him, man. It's whatever.
But here's the thing. I as much as I do like Fernando Mendoza, I've stated this before. I do like Fernando Mendoza. I understand why people would want him, but at the same time, you guys, I know you see the roster we're rolling out there every Sunday. Yeah. Do you really think getting this young kid is going to help with any of that? Son, listen, we go 4-13, 5-12 this year, and we take Mendoza with the top 5 pick. We're going to go 6-11 next year, and he's going to get sacked 67 times within the first 12 weeks.
Yeah. Listen, Tim Couch, if you're out there, Tim Couch is going, no, don't do it. Do not do it. And listen, I don't know. I mean, Mendoza is like I said, great kid, good quarterback. I don't think he's the answer. Someone said the Browns are one franchise quarterback away from being a 10 to 12 win team. That's just not true. Like you said, there are so many questions along the entire offensive line. Forget about the fact that, like you said, Conklin, older, Wyatt Teller could be gone. Joel Bitonio could be gone. We don't know. I mean, just injury concerns, guys coming back from injuries. We're just there. It's just such a mess. The wide receiver room is a mess. The tight end room is starting to, I don't know, that's starting to round into shape a little bit. Harold Finn looks like he could be a player in the NFL. It looks like he could be tight end 1. He is tight end 1.
He is.
But listen, Jerry Jeudy's also wide receiver 1.
Which he shouldn't.
On this roster, he's wide receiver 1, right? That doesn't mean he goes to
NFL, he shouldn't.
No, he's a wide receiver 2, but here he's a wide receiver 1. Yeah. This is like the Ray Farmer wide receiver rooms, right? Like Ray Farmer was so adamantly against having a wide receiver that did anything. I mean, it was like, well, whatever. We'll just put old running backs out there. Who cares?
No trust
as long as we can run the football between the tackles. We're
worse
fine.
Than one of his designed receiving cores.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. It's bad. The Browns have so many questions. And listen, I don't necessarily think the defense is perfect. I mean, we've seen plenty of warts on that defense. I mean, they've got Myles Garrett. They've got Denzel Ward. Nobody's getting younger. Carson Schwarzenegger's there. Mason Graham is in the middle on the defensive line. Listen, Andrew Berry did some things in the draft this year that were great. But again, I don't know. I digress because we're talking about the Browns too much. I want to get back to Indiana, Ohio State tonight. I want to get back to what do you expect to see out of Ohio State? Is it more of the ball control, keep the defense off the field type of game? Do you expect to see them open up the playbook any at all? I mean, do we wait for the playoffs to see that? Because if you remember last year, it was a different situation, right? You lose to Michigan, no Big Ten championship game. You had a couple weeks off, and then all of a sudden, evil Ryan Day came out. I loved it. I told you before that was like his villain arc, right? Like he was standing there, he looked like the Joker at midfield, like he just had this look on his face, and you could physically see the switch flip rather. And then you didn't know what was coming. You didn't know. I mean, nobody knew, but you eventually saw what was coming. It was amazing the transformation that took place there. And by the way, since that moment, the Buckeyes are 16-0. I think they've beaten 7 top 10 teams since then. 5 top 5 teams since then. I mean, Ryan Day's on a heater right now. Do you think that Curt Cignetti and the Hoosiers have any chance of slowing them down tonight, or is it going to be more of the same? I mean, you don't have to give me a score. Well, I guess we're almost at an hour. You can give me a score prediction if you want to. Yeah, I mean, give me a little bit of what do you expect to see? How do the Buckeyes come out tonight? How do the Hoosiers come out? What's the score at halftime? I mean, how does this game go tonight?
Listen, I hate to be the guy that is the guarantee or this is gonna happen. We're gonna do this and this is gonna be so brutal and this that, and the other. But I think it's going to be very tough for Kirk Cignetti and his gang of troops to be able to overcome what is the biggest unit in all of college sports right now, in the Ohio State Buckeyes. I do expect them to make it somewhat interesting. Like I said, they have NFL talent of their own. Obviously, most notably Fernando Mendoza. I do expect them to have a solid game. But again, our defense is just otherworldly. I really don't see anyone who can lean or rock with this offense either. Definitely think it's going to be a huge win for us. I'm going to go ahead and go 42-21 Ohio State.
Okay. That would be the most points that Ohio State has given up all season. So, yeah, I mean, listen, if you expect Mendoza to be a first-round quarterback, and listen, by the way, with the Penn State comment, I'm not throwing shade at Indiana. I mean, Curt Cignetti's got a roster full of 2- and 3-star guys. The fact that they're 12-0 in the Big Ten is amazing. And listen, I think when you can coach, when you can really look at a roster and assess what you have and coach to the strength of the players that you have, I think that's like the ultimate. That's the best way to coach. That's what Urban Meyer did when he came to
and
Ohio
that
State
is
first.
The ultimate job of a coach. And I know people know this. This is the biggest job of a head coach, is to coax as much great as you possibly can out of all involved. That is the main job of a head coach. And Curt Cignetti has more than done that.
Yeah. I mean, the Buckeyes are going to have to slow down Elijah Sarrett. They're going to have to slow down on Mark Hooper. Indiana has a decent running game. They got a couple guys up around 700, 800 yards. They've got a good offense. I just don't think they have the kind of offense that's going to be able to make a lot of noise against Ohio State. I don't know that Ohio State necessarily even puts up 42 points. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. I think we're looking at something like 31-17. And I think it's going to be one of those 31-17 games where it feels like it's 42-21, 42-14, whatever. It's going to feel like a wider gap than that. I think it'll be close at halftime. I think it'll be like, somewhat like the Michigan game. I mean, it started off a little bit slow. But eventually when Ohio State gets rolling, it's like I don't know if anybody's better at making adjustments at halftime, especially this year, than Ryan Day and on the defense with Matt Patricia. They just seem to zero in on what works and kind of cut out what isn't really working that well. They've just made they've made all the right calls. They pushed all the right buttons. So yeah, I think 31-17, 34-17, somewhere around there is my guess. I think Ohio State wins this one. I don't want to say easily, but I mean pretty handily. I think it's gonna feel like Ohio State blew Indiana out, even though the score isn't necessarily going to reflect that. No shade to Indiana or Curt Cignetti. I don't mean to talk ill of the Hoosiers or of Cignetti. I think they've done a fantastic job.
I absolutely love what they're doing this year.
Yeah, I mean, don't you want another rival? I mean, this is great. Penn State has literally fallen off a cliff. By the way, they hired Matt Campbell to be their next head coach. I think that's a good hire. People are calling Matt Campbell the James Franklin
he really
of the Big
left
12.
Iowa State. Wow.
Yeah. He was there for 10 years.
Man.
And he was building something at Iowa State. Listen, it's not easy.
He really was, man.
Iowa State is not a destination program, right? So for Campbell to go in there, he's a local guy too. He's from Canton, Mount Union guy. I mean, it's great to see him have some success in college football. I mean, he's been mentioned as a predecessor to Kevin Stefanski for a while. I mean, maybe the next Browns head coach.
You were thinking that.
So maybe if he has.
No, I think that was in the Hugh Jackson days.
Okay.
Where we were thinking about possibly getting Matt Campbell in here.
Well, listen, I think we can always dream about anybody replacing Kevin Stefanski. It doesn't matter who it is.
Oh,
I mean, they could bring Freddie Kitchens back. I think some people would be happy with that.
No, don't want to do that.
Don't do that. What's Richie Kotite doing? Is he busy?
Ooh, I still got PTSD from that season, man. Ugh.
That was a weird time. That was a weird time in Browns history. That was I don't want to say a dark time because they were okay. They were at least entertaining. You know, the press conferences were fun.
For me, to be a Browns fan and to say that a 6-10 season was a dark time is truly saying something.
Yeah.
I mean that was an emotionally trying year because we had all of the expectations. We had that picture perfect off season, and it was the first time in forever where no fan that repped the orange and brown gave a good greasy goddamn about the NFL draft. We did not care. Our first round draft pick that season was Odell Beckham Jr. from Louisiana State University.
Yeah, with the orange and brown Rolls Royce and all of it. Yeah.
Okay. And then to go 6-10, especially the way that we did, the way in which we went 6-10 is probably what is the most painful thing about it.
Well, maybe the most painful thing about it is Odell Beckham's dad becoming a YouTube influencer. I think that was really what sealed the fate of that team. I mean, that was weird. Weird. It was a weird time.
I still can't believe that happened.
No, that was bizarre. I mean, the Browns have some weird history in the last 26 years. I mean, I say what you want about the drive, the fumble, red right 80, whatever, all the stuff. Say what you want. It's been really bizarre in the last quarter century since they've come back. I mean, it's been really, really weird. I don't know what else to say. We can get into it tomorrow. One thing I'm going to leave you with before we get out of here, and it's about the Browns because I do want to mention one more thing that I've heard some light rumblings of this week. TK, a guy like Mike Tomlin could be available because the Steelers are getting sick of losing first-round playoff games. Wouldn't that be nice? I've heard some guys, listen, Browns local Cleveland guys on the radio say, nope, don't want Tomlin, don't want 10 and 11 win seasons. That's ridiculous. What? I mean, they're struggling to win 10 and 11 games over 2 seasons. You wouldn't take Mike Tomlin coming in here and going 10 and 7, 11 and 6, getting to the first round of the playoff, whatever. I don't know. I mean, we can talk about it tomorrow on the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns and NFL pregame show. You don't have to give me your answer now, but I want you to think about it. If Mike Tomlin becomes available, whether that's by trade, listen, we're not trading a first round pick for Mike Tomlin. That's ridiculous. But by a reasonable trade, 3rd, 4th round pick, or if he's let go by the Steelers and he's out there and he's available, do you kick Kevin Stefanski to the curb and do you pick up Mike Tomlin? You can, again, you don't have to give me your answer now. You can think about it. I think that's a viable option for the Browns, don't you? Maybe.
All right. Okay. Now, you would think, if he does become available, you obviously kick the tires on that, correct?
I would think so. Listen, I'm not gonna turn away an 11-win season here. Are you?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But at the same time,
but he's got to be able to work with Jim Schwartz. He can't come in here and kick Jim Schwartz out and bring his own guys in.
Very true. They
got to be able to work together on that defense. But that's all.
Very, very true. And you would think he would see exactly what he's able to do with this defense. How he's further unleashing Myles Garrett, and you see the development of both Mason Graham and especially Carson Schlesinger. You would think, hey, this is definitely someone that I can work with. But as far as Mike Tomlin becoming available, you obviously have to kick the tires on that. I do not think he is interested in a Cleveland unification whatsoever. That's just me. I do not believe that he is interested in that one bit.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be offended if you said no. I would get it. Yeah.
Right. I totally understand. I don't think he was to be part of this organization. He has had front row seats to our ineptitude show for the past 18 years. So I don't think he wants any part of that. So
he's gone on record defending Kevin Stefanski a couple times, even defending the Browns here and there, though. Just for the record.
Right, so, exactly. Just make sure you throw that out there.
Yeah, right. We'll see. Like I said, we can talk about it tomorrow on the pregame show. We'll get into that. Ryan Mosser will join us at 11 tomorrow. We can talk about that. We're going to preview Browns Titans tomorrow. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders and his historical total QBR. It's not what you think. It's again, it's only been a couple of games. We're not going to.
Still got faith in the young man.
Me too. I see flashes there. So far, it hasn't been great.
Ain't been pretty. We got time.
No, but he's made some plays here and there, so we can talk about that as well. We'll preview that. We'll go around the NFL. We love doing that. We love jumping in the car and heading around the NFL, and we'll preview we'll take a look at all the matchups and give our picks for those. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, TK, you have anything else to say today before we get out of here?
Oh boy, he kind of caught me on this one. Not much today. Just hoping for a really good contest later on tonight for the Big Ten Championship. We do play at 8 p.m. tonight, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
All right.
Yep. I think kickoff's actually like 8:20. It's a little bit later, but you got to do a pregame show before, so. Okay. You got to get as much TV in there as you can, man. You know? As many commercials as you can before the game, too. You got to catch as many eyes. You know, you got to pay for all these advertisements. But, yeah, listen, go Bucks. Obviously, tonight we're rooting for Ohio State. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing Indiana play okay, decently well, whatever. I just don't think they can beat Ohio State. I don't think they're going to do that. I think Ohio State's going to win. I think Ryan Day is on a mission. I think Matt Patricia is fully in control of this defense. I think the Buckeyes are just fully in control of their destiny right now. Are there teams that I worry about come playoff time? Sure. I mean, yeah, it's the unknown, right? I mean, we didn't know they were going to run through the playoffs like that last year. I highly doubt that's going to be the case this year. I don't think they're going to have a bunch of, they're not going to jump out on Oregon 30. Well, Oregon's not there, but they're not going to jump out on anybody 34-0 or whatever. Well, maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll completely open the playbook up and we'll be really surprised in the playoffs as well this year. But I think Ryan Day has that formula for success, and I think Matt Patricia is a huge part of that on the defense. And obviously, you've got talent there. So I'm looking forward to tonight, and I'm looking forward to getting the playoffs started and seeing what the Buckeyes can do again this year. Back-to-back titles would be amazing. It's difficult. It's not easy. I know people expect it, but it's not easy.
I definitely think we can do it.
Yeah, I think they can. I don't know if they will, but I'd love to watch them try. It's going to be fun. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. That's going to do it for this episode of Illegal Formation on the Inside Edge Network. As always, we're brought to you by LPV Productions. For TK Dandridge, I am Chad Bryan. We will see you tomorrow on the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns, and NFL pregame show. At least we hope to see you. Until then, go Bucks. We'll see you tomorrow.